Hello everybody, in this video we're going to talk about the most recent update about US Visa Consulates and Visa Processing updates. I'm also going to give you a quick update about the most current pending lawsuits when it comes to embassies reopening, visa backlogs, and also DV Lottery 2020 and 2021. I'm going to give you all the details about it, what is happening right now all over the world to speed up the processing of visas at the respective consulates. So, what are you waiting for? I'll see you on the other side. Hello everybody, and welcome back to our immigration channel. This is a place where we get the most up-to-date immigration news, immigration information, and everything else that you need to make your immigration journey less stressful. In this video I want to dive into US consulates, visa processing delays, and all the lawsuits that have been filed recently to try to push forward this process and get this backlog moving forward. So sometimes things seem to be really frustrating when it comes from the State Department, specifically because they're so vague, they don't give us a lot of information, and also sometimes the videos that we provide, the information that we give you, seems to be a little bit always the same with very, very few changes. And I give you an example. Just recently the State Department posted on their Twitter account the following: "We are committed to reducing the backlog of immigrant visas applicants waiting to schedule appointments while keeping our staff and applicants safe. Applicants are encouraged to monitor the embassy website for updates on what visa services are currently available." Now, as you can see, this is directly from the State Department, and this is just a few days ago. And what does it mean? It really means nothing. It's the same old things that I've been saying for the past year, that embassies are committed to reducing the immigrant visa backlogs. Applicants should check the respective embassies for progress, and that they're doing their best efforts to reopen, and we should monitor the respective embassies to get information. Well, this is not enough. And as a result, and therefore, there are several lawsuits that are currently pending, specifically against the State Department refusal to issue visas, to speed up appointments, and to get people out of this backlog. Because the progress is so slow, these lawsuits are challenging a few things. Because the progress is so slow, the recent lawsuits are specifically challenging the State Department's refusal to issue visas. Specifically, these lawsuits are saying that the State Department misinterpreted Section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act and continue to refuse visas to this day. Now remember, every time they refuse a visa, they continue to pile up the backlog. And to this day, there's more than 500,000 visas that are sitting and waiting in the backlog to be processed. What's happening because of that is that the National Visa Center that already finished processing many applications that are currently documentally qualified are not able to send those cases to the respective embassies because they're not opening interview slots to start interviewing people. And that's exactly what some of these lawsuits are trying to force them to do. And just a week ago, another preliminary injunction was filed forcing the State Department to grant summary judgment and start issuing visas. And essentially the idea is to bring back the State Department to the way they were processing visas before the pandemic. Right now, almost 80,000 of their consular officers already received their vaccines. Most of these consular posts are now equipped to start seeing people on a regular basis. So while they're vaccinated, while the posts are able to start seeing people, none of that is currently happening in practice. And the question is why? So we're hoping that the recent lawsuits, including the preliminary injunction, is going to start putting more pressure on the State Department to resume visa processing just like it happened before the pandemic. Remember, this is for countries that are not included in the travel ban. For countries that are inside the travel ban, like Schengen, there is also litigation pending because many of these consulates illegally were preventing people from getting their visas just because of these travel bans. Well, guess what? The travel bans only states that if a person wants to travel from any of the Schengen countries and any of the other countries that is barred from traveling to the United States, as long as they're quarantined for 14 days in a third country, they can enter the United States. It doesn't mean that they're not supposed to get visas. Well, that's another reason why specifically some of these consulates and embassies are being sued directly for that violation of illegal refusal to issue visas just because of a travel ban. In addition to that, we have a recent lawsuit by winners of DV Lottery 2020 and 2021, specifically for 2021 winners that are still not able to get appointments at US embassies and consulates worldwide, And now that we have the 4-tier processing preference categories, putting DV lottery winners at the lowest preference for visa adjudications. So with this in mind, if nothing is going to happen very soon, many of these DV lottery winners that won their cases legally may not be able to finish the process by the end of the year, by September 30th, 2021, and get their visas. That's going to be very devastating to many people, and therefore the recent lawsuit is going to challenge that. It's unfair, it shouldn't happen, and we hope we're going to see a fast resolution coming to us very soon. So let's talk about some visa statistics. In one of my previous videos, I mentioned to you that 133 consulates finally resume operation to a certain extent. But guess what? Out of these 133 consulates, only 60 of them are fully reopened. Only 60 of them. That's really crazy, because while the State Department does not provide accurate statistics, the fact is that they do have meetings between the American Immigration Lawyers Association and their representatives to provide us some data, and that's how we know what's happening on a regular basis. And what I'm telling you, if almost less than half of the consulates that are supposed to be working on a regular basis are open, how are they going to be able to tackle this backlog? It's not going to happen until they are going to be taking this very seriously and start going full blast on this and opening all their embassies and consulates. Now all their officers and consular adjudicators are fully vaccinated. There are no excuses anymore not to fully reopen all these consulates and posts. So remember, this is the current statistic for now, and I'll probably be able to give you even more in the next few weeks. Now, from all the posts that are not currently open based on our previous announcements, most of them only process emergency appointments to this day. Once again, how can you tackle a backlog when you have only 60 embassies that are working full-time, and out of all the other ones, most of them are only processing emergency appointments? That is why the lawsuits are being filed, and that is why we're hoping that the preliminary injunction and all the pressure that is being put on the State Department is going to yield some results, and we're going to be seeing more movement in the next few weeks. And of course, we'll update you right here on this channel. And finally, the State Department has expanded eligibility for national interest exceptions for the travel ban to all the Schengen countries and all the other countries that are being affected by the travel ban. You can see the link to the updated exceptions in the description of this video. It does show that the State Department is trying to improve in certain areas. They're trying to make it easier for certain people to be able to enter the United States. But what we really need right now is more efforts on the immigrant visa categories. Open these embassies, open them fully, and start processing visas as you should. Because like I said, there's no more excuses. Right now, everybody's fully vaccinated, they have their capacities. We've got the multiple lawsuits that are currently pending, and we hope that in the next few weeks we'll see at least some movement, and I'll be here to update you with more statistics, more update on lawsuits, and what's happening with consulates and visas all over the world, as well as our own cases that we can share with you. So once again, if you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to share this video with more people just like you. I know there's going to be more news coming very soon, and we'll be on it to update you where information from the State Department, from other agencies, UCIS, will be here for you. If you have more topics that you want me to make videos on, make sure you drop them in the comments. I really appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in our next video.